Hi, this is Joel Phillips, founder of Proshark and director of technology at Strategic Advisor Board. This is episode number 4 of Tech Tips. We try to answer questions about your presence in the digital space. And we've had a question. We try to keep these episodes between 3 and 5 minutes. We haven't been too successful so far. So we're going to try and make it a little bit shorter. So we had somebody in before we move on back into customer journey, we had somebody email in and ask us on the optimization, website optimization that we were covering, if there was more than just one tool to measure your performance, your site performance. And we brought up pagespeed.web.dev, which is Google's algorithmic tool. There's also GT metrics, but they also use something called Lighthouse, which is the driver of Google's algorithm. So it's all kind of tied in together. We like pagespeed.web.dev just because it's a direct measure of website performance without any overhead or external interpretation. So that said, let's move back into customer journey because today's a fun-filled episode where we discuss how a customer travels through your website. We were discussing yesterday that a customer needs to have a very specific path to follow, a very easy path to follow through your site. And this impacts whether or not, when you go back and improve the page speed performance of your site, do you improve your site or do you replace your site? And there's a lot of technologies, and we're going to go a little bit deeper down the technology road in the next few episodes. But there's a lot of technologies that might push you towards one action or another, whether it's optimizing your existing site or moving to a new site. But the one thing that we want to take a look at today is the customer journey and how they can flow through your site. If you don't have a good customer journey, if you don't have an easy flow for a customer to follow, then it becomes a question of, can you easily edit what you have to make that customer journey something that a customer, it all comes back to stickiness on the site. If a customer gets frustrated, if they can't see an easy path to follow, then they're going to abandon your site. They're going to abandon whatever process they're in the middle of. If you have a low page time on page score, then that's probably due to the fact that customers finding difficulty at some point in your site or not. And this all becomes a question of, how deep do you want to go from a website perspective? So there's all of these metrics and parameters you want to take a look at. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. Not sometimes, oftentimes it gets a little overwhelming. So we want to try and break it all down to make it easy for you to make that determination. Do I fix what I have? Do I start from scratch? So many web developers out there, they create a site and they create the site just based on content, and then that's it. They're done. They're looking to, utilize keyword content. If they're even at a level where they do that, they utilize keyword content, they utilize some of the basic SEO structure of pages, but they don't take into account the consumer. And if you don't take into account the consumer, how can you expect them to follow through if you haven't paid attention to the experience they're going to have? That customer journey is the core of whether or not you'll have a successful site. You may be able to get people to your site using SEO tactics, using paid ads, etc. But if they don't stay there, or if they don't interact with your site, then what good is it? So that's something that we try to help people with whenever we're taking a look at your website. We try to help create that flow, and we're happy to make an assessment on your site with you and say, you know what, yes, we can adjust this or adjust something about your site that'll give your customers an easier path to the end, which is your conversion. Or we'll say, you know what, this is going to be challenging no matter what we do, and we'll make a recommendation. So that said, try and do that yourself. View your site as you follow through as if you were a consumer, and looking at it through the different lenses, perhaps you can see where you may find things that you can adjust to make it simpler for them to get from the start to the finish. Anyway, that's episode 4, customer journey. Appreciate it. If you have a question, please send it in to techtip@proshark.com. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.